comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, right down Santa Claus Lane.
With your host, Andrew Romanella.
I don't think I'm good enough in this spot based on my own personal mental health, so I can't continue. Here comes the Rome Show. What's up, everybody? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Welcome in to another edition of the Rome Show here on 12 Ounce Sports, broadcasting live on YouTube and X. I am your host, Andrew Romanella. We are in a merry and festive mood this Monday, December 16th, 2024. Some like 9 days away from the big man coming. So we're fired up in this studio. If you're fired up this morning, got some sports takes, got some opinions, got some things you need to say, reach out to us on social media. It's the Rome Show 1. That's the Rome Show, the number 1. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, all the social media. If you want to get in on the action live and you want to comment on the show, you want to chat with me, tell me good, tell me bad, youtube.com/12OZ Sports. Click the Rome Show and you can comment on the section right there, or go to X, 12OZ Sports, and you can comment there as well, and we can talk. It was a weekend over the weekend, and a lot of things happened in football, the sport in general, starting with the Heisman Trophy presentation, which was won by Travis Hunter, the two-way star from Colorado. He beat out Ashton Jeanty, the running back from Boise State, by roughly 150 points. We will show you Travis Hunter's Heisman acceptance speech later today. Awesome speech, about 3 minutes or so. Then we roll that into the National Football League, which had an interesting day on Sunday. There were a lot of teams that could have kept their playoff hopes alive, and they didn't. There were teams that could really position themselves for the playoffs better, and they didn't. And then there are teams that did and took advantage of those same opportunities. And to be honest with everybody here, the biggest winner of the weekend might have been the New York Football Giants, because as Tankathon reads, the New York Football Giants currently have the first overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. So you could look at Week 15 in the National Football League as really, really positive if you're a Giants fan. Huge asterisks there. You can look at it positive if you fully accepted the fact that your team is literally atrocious. Okay? Over the weekend, the New York Football Giants lost to the Baltimore Ravens 35-14. And that set the record for the New York Giants at home at 0-8, which is like absolutely atrocious. Okay, it's like the first time in the Giants' history they've opened a season 0-8 at their home stadium, and that is not good. And I just want to go back to what we spoke about a few days ago about the New York Jets and the New York Giants sharing a stadium, and that turning the Giants into another form of the Jets. People think I'm crazy. Now the Giants are 0-8 at home, have the first overall pick, and have 2 times less wins than the New York Jetropolitans, who have fired their head coach and their general manager. So looking a little bleak for the Giants fan. You got to hope that you get that first overall pick and you turn that into a Shedeur Sanders or a Travis Hunter or a Cam Ward or anybody else that you believe can directly impact this football team and start to spin the wheels back to the New York Football Giants that I grew up on, that my parents grew up on, that were the Giants of the mid to late 80s and 90s, and then the Eli Manning-led Giants. That's the identity that has been lost in this football team. Look at the Ravens. Look at the Steelers. Last night's not a good example from Seattle because they lost at home. Look at Seattle, though. Like, there's identities in these long-standing, solid organizations, and the identity of the Giants has been lost, and it has been very hard to find. Since we're talking National Football League, let's pop the music on and let's give you our favorite segment of the week called Monday Morning Quarterback. All right, we're going to finish today with both Monday Night Football games tonight. The Bears at the Vikings and the Falcons at the Raiders. But we will start with your recap over the weekend. The aforementioned Giants, like I said, they lost 35-14 to the Baltimore Ravens at home. Lamar Jackson had a day. He was 21 of 25 for 290 yards, 5 touchdown passes for Lamar Jackson. Great day for the Ravens. They improved to 9-5. You know it's a good day for your quarterback when Derrick Henry rushed the ball 14 times, for 67 yards. The Ravens stay in the hunt for the AFC North and the AFC top spot, if not in the wild card, one of those 3 wild card spots, fumbled over. My words, the Miami Dolphins played quite possibly their worst football game of the season. Led by Tua Tagovailoa, who had 3 interceptions, none bigger than late even though they couldn't score, Tua couldn't stop turning the ball over. Even though that was going on, because he also lost a fumble in this game, the Dolphins still had a chance late in that football game. And Tua's inability to throw the ball downhill, even to the fastest wide receiver in the league, in Tyreek Hill, proved problematic. And he throws his 3rd interception, and now the Dolphins' season is presumably over. They're 6-8. I'll show you the standings here in a little bit. A big loss to Indy helps them stay alive. The Houston Texans, they're 9-5. They're in the 4th seed in the playoffs right now. 18 for 26. C.J. Stroud, 131 yards, 2 TDs. Not a great running game, though. Joe Mixon, 12 carries for 23 yards. So the Houston Texans have been a very interesting team to me this entire season, and I'm curious to see what they look like heading down the stretch, because 9-5, yes. Great quarterback, wide receiver combo, yes. Great running back, great head coach, yes. But for some reason have not played the most consistent football all season. So we'll see. The Chiefs, they finally won a game, and they covered the spread, and they won by more than 1 possession. However, Patrick Mahomes left this game in the 4th quarter with a sprained ankle. The Chiefs improved to 13-1, best record in the National Football League. They beat the Cleveland Browns 21-7 prior to exiting the contest. Patrick Mahomes, 19 of 38, 159 yards and 2 TDs. The Cleveland Browns defensive line did a phenomenal job in this game, led by Myles Garrett, of getting to the quarterback. And though the Chiefs are 13-1, my biggest concern with this football team is who's protecting Patrick Mahomes. It seems like a heavy under-attack year for Patty Mahomes. Does not seem like a consistent offensive line, and it's going to be one of those scenarios where Patty Mahomes has to get the ball out in like 3 seconds or less, or he's not going to have a lot of chance, or he's got to scramble and make a play. Big concern for the Chiefs as we head down the stretch. The Bengals, they get a big win, 2nd in a row, to improve to 6-8. Joe Burrows, he was up to those same old tactics he's been up to all year, dominating the quarterback position. He was 26 of 37, 271 yards and 3 TDs. Chase Brown had a great day on the ground for the Bengals, 25 carries, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. For the Titans, Will Levis was benched in this game. Not good when you're getting benched for Mason Rudolph. He was like 1 for 9, 4 interceptions. Like, just think about the worst football game you could possibly play as a quarterback, and that was it for Mason Rudolph. For Will Levis. Therefore, Mason Rudolph came in. The Titans, they are vying for a top 5 pick themselves. The Cowboys, They beat the Panthers 30-14 to keep their slim playoff hopes alive. Bryce Young did not have a good day for the Panthers, but Cooper Rush did for the Cowboys, 18-29 for 214 and 3 TDs. Rico Dowell led the way on the ground, 25 carries for 149 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 116 yards receiving on 9 receptions and a TD. I've said it before. I'm not saying the Cowboys are better per se with Cooper Rush as the quarterback, but I got to give both Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys offensive coordinator, and Cooper Rush a lot of credit because the Cowboys were getting blown out or losing by 20 in almost every game leading up to the Dak Prescott injury and the Cooper Rush. Imagine him playing quarterback for the Cowboys. Cooper Rush playing quarterback for the Cowboys. So I go out last night and I watched Sam Howell come into the game for the Seahawks, and it gives them zero chance to win the football game. Cooper Rush comes in, and the Cowboys are like 3-1. So I think sometimes, I'm not saying Cooper Rush is the best quarterback for the Cowboys, but sometimes a system just fits a guy, and a guy that you don't think is even a top 32 quarterback in the league ends up looking pretty good, and other guys who are supposed to be franchise quarterbacks look like they shouldn't even be a third string. It's just wild how that works. Nonetheless, Cowboys get a huge victory. The Colts, they stunk. That's right. They were bad. Anthony Richardson is not the answer. I've said this multiple times on this show. The Broncos get a big victory, 31-13 behind 21 points in the fourth quarter. The Broncos were down 13-10 in the third quarter. Fourth quarter switch, bam, 21 points. They win the game. They stay alive in the AFC playoffs. I believe if they win one more game and either the I think it's if the Indianapolis Colts lose and the Dolphins lose next week and the Broncos win, I think they lock up that last playoff or a playoff spot in the AFC. The Bills in a shootout against the Lions. There were 90. Good math, Andrew. Total points in this game, 48-42. The Bills win. They move to 11-3 after a tough loss last week to the Rams. They come back and beat the Lions. The Lions, their winning streak ends, I think, at 10 games. Now they're 12-2, still atop the NFC. Jared Goff threw 5 touchdowns in this game, 494 yards. So think about this. Jared Goff has had a game this year where he threw 5 interceptions and the Detroit Lions won. And Jared Goff has had a game this season where he's thrown 5 touchdowns and the Detroit Lions have lost. I don't know if I've ever seen a stat like that in the history of time, but it happened to Jared Goff and the Lions. I think sometimes stuff like this is really good for a good football team that just needs a little bit of adversity, needs to get kicked in the teeth and realize they're not quite there yet championship caliber wise. Same for the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, they have Josh Allen and James Cook's running the rock really well. But hey, can this defense stop anybody? This defense has given up 90 points combined in the last 2 weeks. That's not a recipe for success either. So though an entertaining football game and a lot of points and 2 really good teams combined for 23 total wins this season, both teams play that football game and give you the belief that maybe they're not as good as you thought because the defensive side isn't as strong. So a lot to be left to be desired for both of those teams. The Eagles, they keep their winning streak alive. They're now 12-2 and tied with the Lions atop the NFC. They beat the Steelers 27-13. The Eagles did the best job all year of making the Steelers look uncomfortable, and it started with the running game. There was not much on the ground for the Steelers, 56 total yards on the ground, and then Russell Wilson only threw for 128. Not a lot of possessions to be had by the Steelers. This wasn't even a Saquon Barkley show. It was a Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith show. And isn't it funny how that works? Something comes out in the media about wide receiver, quarterback problems. Wide receiver and quarterback hook up for their best game all year. The Eagles fan doesn't care because it moves them to 12-2 and gives them a real chance for the number 1 seed. The Steelers, they keep the Ravens alive even more so in the AFC North, as now they are only 1 game above the Ravens for the finish of that division. The Buccaneers, they slaughtered the Chargers 40-17, a step closer to winning the NFC South. And the Packers last night slaughtered the Seahawks 30-13. They, as we'll look in a second here, keep themselves alive, but by slightly in the North. However, their most chance is going to be wild card because I don't see the Lions losing 3 straight to end their season. Geno Smith gets hurt in that game last night, as I mentioned. Jordan Love, 20 for 27, 229, and 2 TDs. Last 2 games, we got some highlights for you. First, for the New York Jetropolitans, they defeat the Jags 32-25, despite Mac Jones having a really solid day for the Jaguars. Aaron Rodgers might have had his best day as a Jet, and it was tied with a minute 20 left in the contest, and Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams hook up for this shot. And Devontae streaks down the sidelines. Battle of really bad football. But the Jets find a way, and I think that's super important, as at the end of this play, Breece Hall will pop this in for a touchdown, giving the Jets a 31-25 lead, and then the eventual victory, something that was super huge for the Jets. Again, 2 bad football teams, but I'm a firm believer that wins matter, and that was a win that mattered right there for the Jets. Some of their players coming back next year, Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, Breece Hall. I mean, you could list them. And then finally, the Commanders, they squeak, they hold on. 19 points in the second half, 12 in the fourth quarter for the Saints, led by Spencer Rattler. Unfortunately, was not enough as the Commanders hold off the Saints, who score with 0 seconds on the clock and then go for 2 to try and win the ball game. However, that 2-point conversion attempt was unsuccessful. I mentioned in this game that Spencer Rattler came in. Yeah, that is because Jake Hayner started the game and was terrible. 4 for 10, 49 yards and an interception. Rattler comes into the game, leads the Saints on all of their scoring drives in the second half, including that one right there that was unfortunately unsuccessful on the 2-point attempt. And now it looks like this. First, in the NFC, the Detroit Lions are leading overall, tied with the Eagles. So it looks like they have the tiebreak on the Eagles based on conference record. The Lions are 8-1 in the National Football Conference, and the Eagles are 7-2. Then you have Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, Minnesota, and Green Bay. And that is where winning your division is so big. Okay, because now look, you have Tampa Bay at 8-6 and LA at 8-6 as higher seeds than the Vikings and the Packers and the Commanders, because all of those teams, number 1 seed is the Eagles or the Lions. So it is a jam-packed NFC, but for the Cardinals, for the Seahawks, who lost control of the division yesterday, and for the Bucs, the Rams, those teams, you have to win your division, presumably, or hope that the Washington Commanders fall off and lose 2-3, 3-3 to finish the season. Here are the division standings in the NFC. The Eagles have locked up the NFC East. The Lions have not in the NFC North. It's actually just as likely that the Lions finish in 3rd place as it is the Lions finish in 1st place, which is even wild to think. Look how good that division is. The Buccaneers are fighting for the South, praying that the Falcons lose their 5th straight tonight. Maybe Kirk Cousins keeps looking at the wrong colors. And then a tie in the West, but a lot to be decided as you look. San Fran could still potentially win that division. You look at the AFC, flip the sides now. I only put the top 10 teams into this picture because the bottoms are already eliminated. So the Cincinnati Bengals, with their victory yesterday and their 2 straight, hang on by a thread because the Chargers lost to the Buccaneers. And so the Chargers at 8-6. Then you have the Colts, the Dolphins, and the Bengals at 6-8. The Broncos are 9-5. The Ravens are 9-5. The Texans are 9-5. I don't see any of those teams going over the rest of the season. So I'm going to add a win to the Broncos and the Ravens, essentially putting them in the playoffs. The Dolphins or the Colts or the Bengals, someone in that group's got to go 3-0. While the Chargers, have to go 0-3. Now, I don't know what the Cincinnati, the Dolphins, and the Colts tiebreaker against the Chargers is, but that's the easiest path in. Chargers 0-3, you 3-0. You actually leapfrog the Chargers. Here's the division standings. The Bills locked up the AFC East, I think on September, was it 15th? Yeah, it was like week 3 of the season. The Steelers still in a battle for the North with the aforementioned Ravens. The Texans have pretty much locked up the South. And the Chiefs, as wild as this also sounds, nope, they also locked up the West. So those are your football standings. As we get down the stretch here, we have 3.2 weeks remaining in the National Football League. What do you mean by 3.2, Andrew? Well, it's week 15. So we have week 16, week 17, and week 18, correct? Aren't there 18 weeks in the National Football League now? If that's wrong, then that's on me. There's 18 weeks in the National Football League. So that's 3 weeks right there. And then there are 2 games tonight on Monday Night Football, which we will preview after this commercial break. Stick with us because we got to talk to you about the Bears at the Vikings and the Falcons and the Raiders. So we can give you our picks and you can win some bananas. If we have more time, we'll play the Travis Hunter Heisman Trophy speech, which I think is awesome. To watch the Rome Show, 12ouncesports.com. Back after this commercial break.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Yeah. Woo! It's the Rome Show. 12ouncesports.com. Christmas. 9 days away. Happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate, we thank you for tuning into the Rome Show. I hope you like my new gear. I'm going to stand up at the mic real quick. Little Pat McAfee. It says Rome Show Football Club. It's a prototype. We're testing them out. If you like it, reach out. Rome Show Football Club. We're going to make them in different colors. We're going to get some few logos on here. We got the football. We're going to put a football helmet. Going to work on some other stuff. We also have the prototype of the TRS coffee cup right here. We were working over the weekend with the lightning bolt because you got to be electric. You understand that. And we got a bunch of other T-shirts and some other prototypes we've been working on over the weekend. My beautiful fiance and I, as we look to continue to roll the Rome Show, make this thing legitimate, as 12 Ounce Sports helps us do on a daily basis. Some sporting news I thought the people would like to know before we get to the Heisman Trophy presentation by Travis Hunter. The NBA Cup has been going on. I don't know if you know this, but if you didn't, I'll give you the update. The semifinals happened on the 14th. That was Saturday. The Bucks, they defeated the Hawks 110-102. And the Thunder, they defeated the Rockets 111-96. So the two number one seeds in the 2024-2025 NBA Cup brackets, Emirates NBA Cup, I should say, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Milwaukee Bucks will be facing off tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Early lines on that contest are OKC -4.5. After Hockey with Rocky tomorrow, we will break that game down a little bit for you. We mentioned the Heisman Trophy was won over the weekend by one Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter, the first two-way star to win it since Charles Woodson in 1992. Okay. Travis Hunter, the first non-quarterback to win it in what feels like a really long time. Its closest margin of victory since 2009, Mark Ingram and Toby Gerhart. Travis Hunter received 2,231 points, while Ashton Janti received 2,017 points. Hunter 552 first place votes and Janti 309 first place votes. And I was looking at the statistics on this over the weekend, and I don't remember them fully off the top of my head, but the one thing I can tell you is in this sport, it is very unlikely for a non-quarterback to win the Heisman Trophy. And so here are your numbers all time. There are 39 quarterbacks that have won the Heisman Trophy. I think this was the fifth non-quarterback since 2000. 42 running backs. So think about that. That's the fifth non-quarterback since 2000 or something like that. That means that the entire landscape has just shifted. 42 running backs all time have been Heisman Trophy winners. So 42 running backs and 39 QBs, yet we all scream and yell, at least in my lifetime, that it's a quarterback award. That's how much it's shifted. 4 wide receivers, 2 fullbacks, 2 tight ends, 1 cornerback, and then they actually wrote 1 athlete on the Heisman Trophy post as for Travis Hunter. Here's Hunter speaking at the Heisman Trophy ceremony and receiving the award. That's unreal. He's got Lil Wayne at his Heisman speech, but to be honest with you, I enjoyed every second of listening to that man speak, and I loved hearing his appreciation for Coach Prime Shador and what that relationship means to Travis Hunter, how it has helped Travis Hunter. And to me, I think Deion Sanders gets a lot of hate in this world for absolutely no reason. You want to hate on somebody for trying to make people's lives better? You want to hate on somebody for being boisterous about who they are or being unique? I'm over it, man. That man, as in Deion Sanders, does legitimately so much great for people and the game of college football when he doesn't have to do any of it. He's a Hall of Famer. He could have just been a dad, taught Shador how to be good at football. He could just be living his life with his millions and millions of dollars. He could be doing all of those things. Instead, he's grinding it out as a essentially lower level schooled head football coach, doing it because he loves it, doing it for the players, doing it right, by the way, because both programs he took over had 1 win, then the next year like 3 or 4, and then the next year like 8+ as shown at Jackson State and Colorado. But I thought Travis Hunter did a phenomenal job of giving due and love and credit to Deion Sanders. And it shows you how important a coach or a mentor can be in your life. And I just wanted to end the show today by giving a shout out to my mentor and my coach, Jeff Trundy at the Gunnery School. Coach Trundy's battling some health right now. He's been battling for a few years. And I don't know if you're out there listening to this, coach, if you are or if you aren't, I just hope this message can get to you, but just fight like hell, because, you know, I don't know if I can put a number. I don't know if I can put a statement, a word, a phrase on how important Coach Trundy was to me, still is to this day, how much he's affected my life, how much he's made me the coach that I am, the person that I am. There's not a day goes by that I don't tell a Jeff Trundy story, that I don't affect my players the same way that Jeff Trundy affected me. And it's heartbreaking to watch and hear what he's going through with his health. So Coach, I love you, man. I'm praying for you. Stay strong. And just watching the Travis Hunter's love for Deion Sanders really put a lot of perspective into the importance of those people in your lives. And right now, the most important one in my life is struggling. And I just want to take a second here on the Rome Show to say, I love you, man. Fight like hell, as I know you will, because you are one of the greatest people I have ever met. And I cannot wait to talk baseball to you again, for you to tell me that I'm not the right person for a job, even though I know, or I think I know, you're absolutely kidding. And for you to tell me that you can't believe people listen to me on the radio because I talk that much. And don't people get tired of me? I love you, man. I really do. And I love to see that love from Travis Hunter to Deion Sanders. We'll give you our picks real quick on the Rome Show, and then we will get out of here for the people. No easy transition off of that, so I will play my banana sounders at the end. Tonight we have 2 football games. The Bears, they are underdogs against the Vikings. They are 7-point underdogs in this contest. The Bears are a team all season that no one has trusted. They have fired their head coach. You wonder if their GM is next. The Vikings, we mentioned before, are in a fight for the North, which now has a little bit more opening that Detroit lost. I'm going to take the Vikings at the -7 here, and I'm also going to take Sam Darnold with 2+ touchdowns. I don't trust the Bears defense, and Darnold's thrown 28 of those, the 10 interceptions on the year. The second game is the Falcons at the Raiders. The Falcons are only favored by 5.5 in this game, and I think that's because they're on a 4-game losing streak. And Kirk Cousins has thrown 8 interceptions to 0 touchdowns in those 4 games. I don't trust the Falcons that much. And I got to be honest with you, I don't trust the Raiders at all because they're right now fighting the Giants for the #1 pick. But bad franchises do dumb things, and I could see the Raiders randomly winning this game in a time when they really don't need to. So I'm going to take the Raiders at the +5.5. I'm going to stay away from any any prop on this one outside of whatever Brock Bowers over is on receiving, take it, or him with a touchdown. But my 3 banana picks are going to be Vikings -7, Raiders +5.5, and Sam Darnold to throw 2 touchdowns. That is your ba bananas, and that is the Rome Show here on a Monday, 12/16/2024. Call the mentors in your life that matter. Call the people that you love. Tell them you love them because it's super, super important. Coach, I love you, man. Fight like hell. We'll be back tomorrow on the Rome Show to bring you everything we can. Andrew Romanella, peace.
Thank you for listening.